hell am I doing here? In this miserable place? I'm risking my life. For what exactly?
They are driven to pursue it. So driven, they do it entirely for their own sake. It's their dream.
This isn't the time for thinking. I should focus on wielding my sword. I will kill them. Nothing more.
About to go to the LA Kings game, so I got this painted on my face. Holy, the laptop camera quality is horrible. Anyways, what is up, boys? We are back with another trade breakdown. Like always, I don't know what you guys are expecting, but here it is. So let's get into today. Today was a headache, not a trading headache, but like an IRL headache. Had to go pick up my laptop. My laptop broke. Spilled orange juice on it. Now it's all sticky. Got it cleaned. Paid $80 to get it clean. They broke the shift key, which is like my most used key. So I couldn't even. Anyways, so long story short, let's recap. First news, because I always forget news. We had CPI and unemployment claims today. Philly Manufacturing Index is subjective. As you guys seen in the live trade, we were still giving our entire thought process. I think I'm going to start doing that in the live trades. I don't know if you guys enjoy it. Let me know if you do. Let me know if you don't. But anyways, let's look at today's outlook. Today, this is how market open price action looked. I was looking for us to take previous day high, mainly because we had no internal liquidity to have an SMT off of in order to go short. So I was potentially long bias, really looking to see low resistance liquidity, buy side liquidity in this example get taken in order to get a long entry to the upside. This was today's recap. We will go into that in a second because we are about to recap everything on our own. Where's the chart? Okay, there is a lot of drawings here, but I gotta hurry up too because like I'm in a rush. But anyways, starting off market open, what did we end up seeing? We had a CPI displacement here. I'll go through all of these texts in a second. We had a market maker sell model here with no sequential SMT. And if I go on the 15-minute time frame, I will be able to show you guys. Let me hide all the drawings real quick. Actually, I don't know how to hide all the drawings. And I don't want to get rid of all of them. So anyways, you can see right here, we had no internal high to form an SMT off of in order to go short. So I was really expecting price action to continue higher on the trading day, which is why when we first had this market maker sell model to the downside, I was not looking to see this continue. I was looking to see a sequential SMT form with this low, which we ended up having right here. This was between Q3. Starting to rain outside. This was between Q2 and Q3. So ended up forming that sequential SMT upon our first execution, because you guys see in the title it was 1 loss and 1 win. The first loss could have easily been avoided. This was a rejection block entry on the 1 minute time frame. My timing was just a bit off. You could see because we ended up getting our entry later, or ended up shifting order flow later. But this initial trade, dude, where is it? Okay, right here. So first execution was upon this bullish 1 minute rejection block. Internal high would have been our first target, and then previous day high would have been our final target, which we did not end up hitting. So ended up getting stopped out on that trade execution. That was no worries. However, once we formed that prominent sequential SMT rather than this regular SMT, and the reason why I say prominent sequential SMT because this was the low of Q2, discarding this low because I didn't want to see price action continue that low. So with this being the prominent sequential SMT, that's when we formed the reversal to the upside. I was looking to potentially execute on the 1 minute change of state of delivery on this order block right here. However, I was like, let me see a little bit more prominent displacement. Wanted to ensure that, hey, this was a solid trade execution and not just one I was FOMOing into, or just kind of letting loose on, where I was like, let me just execute because I know I can execute more trades and end the day in profit. I wanted to wait for a full confirmation shift in order flow. And that's when we formed this clear change state of delivery on the 1 minute. My execution was upon the CE of this 1 minute fair value gap. I could have gotten a lot better entry. However, I wasn't even expecting price action to retrace this low for OTE. If I really could have, I could have kept it at 0.75, had a significantly increased risk reward. This would have been a lot larger of a profit day. Now, don't get me wrong, I'm not complaining. We have been consistent throughout the week, throughout the past 2 weeks, and these wins start to stack up exponentially. So I was not complaining at all about that. I wasn't even expecting to use the fib. I just thought of it as a confluence that, hey, if we retrace, this is... Let me see if we're within OTE, if our entry is within OTE. And if it's not, let me try to make it within OTE. Since it was below equilibrium, I just left it where it was because I didn't even think we would get this deep of a retracement right here. Up to this point, I actually thought price was going to stop me out. I was like, hey, price doesn't look this probable. We may stop me out and then form a different long to the upside. But I was still adamant on longs open low high close, mainly because, like I said, we had no opposing sequential SMT. SMT is the catalyst of every reversal. If we don't have that, we have no reason in order to not expect us to continue in whatever opposing direction that does not have it. Does that make sense? For example, if we have SMT down here, we have no reason to cross back below these lows if this SMT is valid, in simple terms, right? Meaning, if there's no SMT at this high, we're looking to see that high get taken. And that's exactly what happened. Price retraced, almost stopped me out for a bit, then displaced back to the upside. This was during the fourth quarter, so pairing once again time with price. You can see at this last microcycle Q4, that is when the distribution began right here. And then I had Q4 session open because that was the microcycle, and then this was session open, 90-minute cycle. That's when I was like, okay, I want to see price continue higher from here, potentially displacing toward previous day high, even though I also marked out it was a lot of points. This would have been a 300 point move, which was a crazy move. I was surprised we even made that displacement that high. Now, did I still want to see previous day high up to this point? Yeah, but we didn't end up getting that. I'll tell you why. I closed in a second as well. I don't know if there's any point to go over my drawings, mainly because like I'm recapping everything here. But anyways, as price action continued to develop, going into this 90-minute cycle, we ended up consolidating, forming a lower time frame sequential SMT, microcycle sequential SMT. That's when I wanted to see price hold, continue higher. Going into this final quarter, microcycle quarter, I was like, hey, we're either going to displace higher from here or we're going to reverse. One or the other. Obviously, it's Q4. Either continuation or reversal will happen. However, I was not trying to hold all that long. I was already in this trade for an hour, 30 minutes, which is so long. I was like, dude, my patience is up to here. Like, we don't have crazy displacement. It's not a crazy volume metric day. Like, I don't even know if that's the right term. Let me just we'll see what happens. My thought process was literally like, going to hold till the end of this Q4, weekly Q4, current session Q4. And at one point, Top Step X couldn't even let me set my stop loss to break even. So I was like, screw this. I'm going to exit once the fourth quarter microcycle is done because I'm not trying to hold this trade for the rest of the day, even if it displaces to previous day high. So I ended up closing, price ended up reversing, and then later continuing back to the upside. Yeah, there it is. That is today's trade execution. This was a really, really light day. I'm approaching my accounts chill for now, mainly because I'm only risking $200 a trade, fixed risk on every trade, but today was a $2,300 day, pairing it in with around 10 grand this week. Not bad. Week's not done though. We have tomorrow, but doing okay. The main thing is I care less about the P&L. I really, really can. What I truly care about is the fact that I'm compounding that consistency. This is the most consistent I've ever been within my trading journey. If you guys have followed for years on end, you will be able to recognize that as well. And it's not a fluke and it's not luck. I don't feel that fear of, screenshot curse or screen recording curse. Like, I'm going to start talking about it, then I'm going to start losing. No, that happens to people who do not have clarity within their model and do not know what they're doing. You know, that happens to people who do not know how to tailor their model to pair with their mechanics and their discretion. I'm figuring out what works for me, and guess what? I'm still in the experimentation phase. I'm still figuring it out. I'm still going to be refining. I'm still taking trades and losses that don't need to be taken, you know, and eventually in time, I will learn to refine. I will learn to improve, and I'll improve. But anyways, I love you guys. Feel free to join the Discord. Link is in the description. We're actually getting like crazy active there. Like we're getting motion. But anyways, love you guys. Thank you for watching, and I will see you in, well, let's see my face bit one more time. And I will see you in the next video. Peace. Well, probably tomorrow. Yeah, probably tomorrow. I gotta return the rental car I got. Anyways, see you guys tomorrow. Peace.